The average engine today should last 200,000 miles, but most don't even make it past 120,000. Why? Simple neglect. Do this once a month and your engine will last forever. It takes less than 10 minutes, costs almost nothing, yet doubles your car's life. I'm saving the most powerful bonus tip for the end, the one that makes the difference between 150,000 miles and 500,000. Let's get into it. Habit number 14, check engine oil level and condition. If you only remember one thing I say today, let it be this: oil is your engine's lifeblood. I've seen more engines die from neglected oil than from anything else. Checking it once a month takes 2 minutes. Pop the hood, pull the dipstick, wipe it clean, then slide it back in and out. That stick tells the truth, more than any light on your dash ever will. Good oil should be a clear amber, almost like honey. If it's dark, gritty, or smells burnt, that's oil begging for a change. Look at the level too. Running even a quart low might not seem like much, but that's when parts start grinding against each other, and once that damage is done, you don't get it back. Me? I make it a habit. First Saturday morning of every month, coffee in one hand, rag in the other, I check my oil. I've seen delivery cars go 300,000 miles this way. Engines don't quit when they're cared for. And since you've already got the hood up, don't close it yet. There's another simple thing you should be looking at. Something that can save your engine from overheating without you even realizing it. Habit number 13. Inspect coolant reservoir. Engines don't just die from bad oil, they also cook themselves to death when folks ignore their coolant. Overheating is one of the fastest ways to turn a good motor into a boat anchor. Here's what you do. With the engine cold, pop the hood and look at the coolant reservoir. Don't ever open the radiator cap while it's hot unless you enjoy a face full of boiling antifreeze. On the side of the tank, you'll see min and max. The level should be between them, but don't just check the level. Look at the color. Fresh coolant should be bright, usually green, orange, or pink, depending on your car. If it looks rusty, milky, or if you see oil floating in it, that's big trouble. That could mean a blown head gasket or oil mixing where it shouldn't. I once had a customer come in with what he thought was a simple coolant top-off. The fluid was brown like coffee, and his engine was cooked beyond saving. 2 minutes a month could have saved him thousands. So while you're under the hood and already in inspection mode, don't stop there. Another part that looks small but can take your whole engine out if ignored, it's the belts and hoses. This is just the start. If you want to know exactly how to keep your cooling system running like new, I covered it step by step, and doing this will make your car's cooling system last forever. Just click the link above when you're done here. Habit number 12, inspect belts and hoses. Sometimes it's a $30 belt or a soft hose that takes the whole showdown. I've seen engines overheat, alternators stop charging, and power steering fail, all because someone never looked twice at their belts and hoses. Once a month, take a flashlight and check them. Belts should look solid, no cracks, no shiny glaze spots, no strings peeling off the edges. Press down on them. If they feel too loose or you hear a squeal when you start the car, that's a sign it's time to tighten or replace. Now, hoses. Squeeze them gently. They should feel firm, not mushy, not rock hard. Look for bulges, leaks around the clamps, or dried out cracks. A blown hose can dump all your coolant in seconds, and then it's game over for the engine. I'll never forget a customer who drove in with smoke pouring out of the hood. His serpentine belt snapped on the highway, and without it, the water pump quit turning. By the time he pulled over, that motor was hotter than a barbecue grill. A simple check in his driveway once a month could have saved him thousands. And while you're under there with a light, don't forget the next thing. It's not as obvious, but if you ignore it, you'll end up chasing electrical gremlins that will drive you crazy. Habit number 11. Keep battery terminals and cables clean. Engines don't just need fuel and air, they rely on steady electricity too. A weak connection at the battery can make your whole car act possessed. Once a month, pop the hood and inspect the battery posts and cables. If you spot white crust, green fuzz, or any buildup, it's time to clean. A wire brush and a little baking soda solution work wonders. After cleaning, make sure the clamps are tight. Give them a wiggle. If they move, they're too loose. Keeping those connections clean and secure ensures your starter spins strong, your ignition fires properly, and your engine sensors get accurate power. Neglect them, and you'll find yourself chasing weird electrical problems that don't seem to make sense. And speaking of airflow and sensors, let's move on to something that looks simple, but plays a huge role in how your engine breathes. By the way, if you're finding these habits useful, give this video a like. It helps more drivers take better care of their cars. And if you don't want to miss the next tip, make sure you hit subscribe. Habit number 10, check air filter. Your engine is nothing more than a giant air pump. It breathes in, burns fuel, and breathes out. Cut off its air supply, and you choke the life right out of it. That's exactly what happens when folks run around with a clogged air filter. While you are doing your monthly oil checkup, don't forget to open the airbox. Most cars just have a few clips or screws. Pull the filter out and hold it up to the light. If you can't see daylight through it, your engine can't breathe through it either. That means more fuel wasted, rough idling, and extra stress on everything from the spark plugs to the catalytic converter. Air filters are cheap insurance. If it looks gray, full of bugs, or just plain dirty, replace it. Don't wait until your car is gasping for air. And since we're talking about efficiency, let's step down to where rubber meets the road, because your tires can quietly put more load on your engine than you realize. Habit number 9, check tire pressure and alignment. Most folks don't realize this, but your tires can make your engine work harder than it should. Drive around with underinflated tires, and you're basically dragging the car down the road. That extra resistance forces the engine to burn more fuel just to keep you moving. By now, you should be a pro with a tire gauge. Don't trust the one at the gas station. It's been dropped 1,000 times and reads wrong. Check all 4 tires when they're cold. Look inside the driver's door jamb for the sticker. It tells you the correct pressure for your car. Ignore the sidewall. That's just the max pressure, not what you should run. While you're at it, pay attention to how the car drives. If the steering wheel pulls to one side or you see uneven wear on the tires, your alignment is off. A bad alignment doesn't just chew through rubber, it puts extra strain on your suspension and even makes the drivetrain work harder. Proper air and alignment keep your car rolling easy and your motor breathing a sigh of relief. And speaking of breathing, let's look at a small part under the hood that has a big job keeping your engine clean inside. Habit number 8, inspect PCV valve. This little guy right here, the PCV valve, might be the most overlooked part under your hood. It's small, cheap, and hidden, but when it clogs or sticks, your whole engine pays the price. The PCV valve's job is simple. It vents pressure and vapors out of the crankcase and routes them back to be burned. Without it, sludge builds up inside the engine, seals start leaking, and oil gets pushed where it doesn't belong. Once a month, pull it out and shake it. You should hear a little rattle. If it's stuck solid, full of gunk, or the hose connected to it is cracked, replace it. They as low as $5, but they prevent thousands in engine repairs. Check it monthly, keep it breathing, and your motor stays clean. Now, while you're down there looking for small things that can cause big damage, don't forget to glance under the car, because what's dripping on your driveway might be telling you a whole story. Habit number 7, Check for fluid leaks under the car. Engines don't just fail when something breaks. They also bleed out slowly, right under your nose. I tell people all the time, the ground under your car is like a report card. If you're not looking at it, you're missing free information. Once a month, back your car out of the driveway or parking spot and check the ground. See a puddle? Don't just kick dirt over it, look closer. Clear water is usually just AC condensation, but dark brown or black, that's oil. Red or pink could be transmission fluid or power steering. Green, orange, or pink that feels slick, that's coolant. Even a few drops matter. A small oil leak today can turn into a starved engine tomorrow. A slow coolant leak? That's an overheated motor waiting to happen. I've seen folks ignore stains for months until one day their car overheated on the highway and locked up solid. Catching leaks early saves you thousands. It's cheaper to fix a gasket than replace a whole engine. And since we're talking about catching problems before they snowball, let's move to the Smart Man's tool, a little device that tells you what's wrong before your car even says a word. Habit number 6, scan for error codes. Your car knows when something's wrong long before you do. Problem is, most folks wait until the check engine light comes on, or worse, until the car starts running rough. By then, the damage is already working its way in. That's where an OBD2 scanner comes in. They're cheap, they plug right into the port under your dash, and they tell you exactly what the car's computer is seeing. I scan mine once a month, whether I see a light or not. Why? Because some issues don't light up the dash right away. You might have a misfire count building up, an O2 sensor getting lazy, or a fuel trim drifting out of range. The scanner will spot it before it turns into a repair bill. I've had customers tow cars in for sudden breakdowns. Plugged in my scanner, turns out the problem had been creeping up for months. If they'd checked earlier, it would have been a $40 sensor instead of a $4,000 repair. Think of it like a monthly checkup for your car's brain. And once the computer's happy, you still need to check the fire it delivers, starting with the spark. Habit number 5, inspect spark plug wires/coils. Engines live and die by spark. No spark, no bang. Weak spark? You get misfires, wasted fuel, and washed down cylinders that chew up your rings. And once that damage is done, you can't undo it. Once a month, take a good look at your plug wires and coils. If you've got old school plug wires, run your hands along them. Feel for cracks, brittleness, or spots where they're rubbing metal. At night, you can even mist them with a spray bottle. If you see little sparks dancing, those wires are leaking voltage. On coil on-plug systems, check for corrosion or burn marks on the coil boots. Pull one off and look if the rubber looks dry and cracked, or if you see carbon tracking, little black lines, that coil is on its way out. I once had a customer complain about bad gas mileage. His wires were so worn, they were arcing to the valve cover. The engine was fighting itself every time it fired. New wires and coils, and suddenly it drove like a new car. Good spark means clean power. Bad spark means stress on every moving part. And speaking of clean power, let's talk about where your air and fuel meet, because a dirty throttle body or sensor can throw your whole engine off balance. Habit number 4, clean throttle body and MAF sensor. Your throttle body and MAF sensor are like the lungs and nose of your engine. The throttle body controls how much air gets in. The MAF sensor tells the computer exactly how much is flowing. If either of them is dirty, your engine's breathing gets messed up, and everything from idle to fuel economy goes downhill. Over time, carbon builds up around the throttle plate. It starts to stick, and your idle turns rough or high. The MAF sensor, sitting right in the intake stream, tends to collect dirt, oil mist, and dust. Once that happens, It can't read airflow correctly, and the computer starts guessing. That means rich fuel trims, hesitation, and extra stress on the motor. Cleaning them is simple. Once a month, pull the intake hose and spray throttle body cleaner around the plate. Use a rag to wipe the gunk, but don't force the plate wide open. For the MAF sensor, only use MAF-specific cleaner. Never touch the wires with your fingers. A couple sprays and let it dry. Keep these two breathing clear, and your engine runs smooth, strong, and efficient. And while we're on fluids and efficiency, don't forget about one that often gets overlooked, but when it's bad, it'll cook your whole drivetrain. Habit number 3, fuel system treatment. Engines run best when the fuel burns clean. Problem is, over time, injectors start to clog, carbon builds up on the valves, and the combustion chambers get dirty. That makes the engine work harder, run rougher, and waste fuel. Once a month, and this is very important, run a good fuel system treatment through the tank. Don't grab the cheapest bottle off the shelf. Get a trusted brand that's designed to clean injectors and break down carbon. Just pour it in before you fill up, so it mixes as you pump gas. Here's why it matters. Clean injectors spray a fine mist, giving you a perfect burn. Dirty injectors dribble fuel, causing misfires, hesitation, and poor mileage. I've pulled injectors so clogged they barely sprayed at all, and the engine sounded like it had a dead cylinder. One treatment later, it smoothed right out. I also tell folks to stick with top-tier gas whenever possible. The extra detergents in that fuel help keep things clean even between treatments. A clean fuel system keeps the engine strong, efficient, and long-lived. And speaking of paying attention, let's move to something you can't buy in a bottle. You've got to use your ears for this one. Habit number 2, listen for strange noises. Engines always talk to you. You just have to listen. The problem is, most folks crank up the radio and ignore the sounds that could have saved them thousands. Once in a while, drive with the radio off, windows down, and pay attention. Here's what to listen for. Knocking or pinging sounds like marbles rattling in a can. Often bad fuel, carbon buildup, or timing issues. Ignore it, and you'll damage pistons. Ticking or tapping could be low oil, worn lifters, or valves out of adjustment. Sometimes it's just a small leak at the exhaust manifold. Either way, it needs checking. Squealing. That high-pitched scream is usually a loose or worn belt. If it snaps, you could lose your alternator, water pump, or power steering in seconds. Grinding. Often bearings and accessories like the alternator, water pump, or even the AC compressor. Let it go too long, and it can seize and throw the belt. Hissing. Sounds like air escaping. Could be a vacuum leak which messes with fuel trim and makes the engine run rough. Thumping or clunking usually mounts, suspension, or even drivetrain stress transferring through the engine bay. And since clunks and vibrations often point to what holds the motor in place, the next thing to check is hiding right under the engine itself. Habit number 1, drive the car hard once in a while. Believe it or not, babying your engine can kill it faster than pushing it. When you only drive short trips, idle a lot, or never rev the motor past 2,000 RPM, carbon builds up inside like cholesterol in arteries. The result? Clogged injectors, sticky piston rings, sluggish performance, and poor fuel economy. That's where the Italian tune-up comes in. Once a month, after the engine is fully warmed up, take it on the highway and run it hard. I'm not saying redline it from every stoplight. This isn't street racing. But give it some spirited acceleration, let it stretch its legs, and hold it at higher RPMs for a bit. Why does this help? Burns off carbon deposits in the combustion chamber and on valves. Cleans the catalytic converter, helping it stay efficient. Keeps piston rings free from sticking due to low speed buildup. improves airflow by clearing out gunk that never leaves during gentle driving. Engines are designed to operate across a full range of speeds. Driving too gently all the time prevents them from staying clean and efficient. Giving your car a proper workout once in a while helps it stay healthier for longer. Bonus tip: clean and protect your car's electrical grounds. Do this and your car will outlive most others. No excuses. Every modern vehicle relies on dozens of ground connections to complete electrical circuits. When those grounds corrode, loosen, or build resistance, strange phantom problems start. Weak fuel pumps, misfiring coils, failing sensors, even transmissions acting crazy. People waste thousands replacing parts when the real culprit is a dirty ground. Once a month, inspect and clean your grounds. Find the straps and bolts connecting the engine, chassis, and battery negative cable. Remove them, scrub with a wire brush, tighten securely, and coat with dielectric grease. This single fix will save your car's brain, the ECU, and keep every system operating at full power. Take these monthly habits seriously, and your engine will reward you with years of reliable life. But don't go yet. Our next video exposes the stupid oil change mistakes that silently destroy engines. Click to watch it next.